I'm not really into those whole 4-year degree things, but that's just me because I sucked at it.
All right, you guys seen it. We pushed the pacer in. It's another video of GG. Yeah, I thought the GG was done doing burnouts for the rest of the year, but Robbie hit me up. He said we need to get the GG fixed. You guys remember when we pushed GG out of the trailer and... Yep. Yeah.
Disaster struck.
Disaster. You guys seen it. We popped a hole in the oil cooler. So me and Hillbilly were gonna fix it today because Robbie has a burnout. He has an event going on. He's going to speak at the Richfield Snow College. And he's gonna take GG. I think he's gonna take the Jeep. Just show him exactly what he does, what we build, stuff like that. But he's gonna do a burnout for him. So we got GG inside. Well, first we're gonna get it on jack stands, change out the oil cooler, and we're gonna go through and check everything, make sure everything's still tight from changing out the leaf springs, doing all that from jack stand doing the burnout. Amazing burnout he did. So yeah, that's what we're gonna be doing today, and then we'll show you guys as long as we fix the oil cooler and go through the whole car. So, you have anything to say, Billy?
This paint job's amazing.
It is. It still looks good, even with all the tire slap.
Tire slap.
I think it gives it character.
Yeah, that's part of the paint job.
It's like,
it shows that it's not just a show car.
and if you didn't know this car, you didn't know it did burnouts, you would probably be like, what in the heck happened there? Jack stand Jimmy was here. Okay, first things first, we're gonna get this thing up on jack stands, and we will show you the process of changing out this oil cooler. We can't throw it on the rack today because, yeah, that's why. So it's okay. We'll make our own little rack.
Gotta get rid of this Carolina squat. It's horrible. Okay, got GG in the air, so now we can go through and check all the bolts, make sure everything's tight and looking good. We can also get the oil cooler changed. I hope we have a new one. Do you know if we have a new one?
We should have one.
Well, let's hope we have one.
I think it's outside in the other parts.
We're gonna have to find that oil cooler before we show you anything. Working on the motor oil cooler. We gotta remove it and replace it. To start with, I gotta get all the 2 lines undone off of it, and then I have to undo the electrical, unbolt the electrical off of the side of it, and then I can go through and undo the bolts and pull it out. So let's undo these 4 screws and these 4 screws, and we're going to use this fan because the fan is good, so we're going to use it, and that way we also don't have to change plugs because this fan's already set up for what we need. Okay, I got the screws pulled, and then just go set that on the side. We'll put that in a box for a backup. Now let's reattach the fan. So we have to do a whole swap. Fan, the new cooler doesn't come with the fittings in it at all. But I pulled one fitting out and just pulling the other fitting out, putting it inside the new cooler. Take the plugs, put them back in here, just so if there's any oil left inside the cooler, it doesn't leak everywhere. I'll tighten these up and then see if we can't find the new brackets. It's almost back to perfect. Didn't have no luck finding the new ones, so we're straightening the old ones. Okay, got the brackets straightened out, so now I can install the new cooler up into place. Well, crap, no, we can't.
Let's straighten those brackets.
Yep, gotta straighten the brackets. That trailer really did a number to this front of this car. So I'm just getting the back bolts for the oil cooler installed. And they're being a kind of a pain. Now, we got the cooler installed, everything buttoned up, bolted up, tightened down. Gotta add oil. Gotta get every drop out of this container because this is not very cheap oil. So I was just under here looking at everything, making sure that everything's still tight and good and nothing's coming apart or coming loose or falling apart. And I realized, I hope Robbie wasn't missing them. Nope. Those were in there in a burnout.
There they are.
They are. I knew I put those there.
One half's weatherized, weather protected. The other half is not.
How's it look under there?
Everything's looking like it's ready for another burnout. So while I was under here, I noticed that the axle was leaking a little bit, but it's just the fill plug. So I'm just gonna make sure it's snugged up. Okay, it was a little loose, so I just got about a quarter turn out of it. So I should seal that up on the third member.
Driveline's good.
Solid. If everything is nice and sound, I'm gonna let it down so that way on Thursday it can do a Smokey burnout. Well, let's see how much fuel Jackstand Jimmy used.
Taking all 5 gallons?
Pretty close.
One eternity later.
Thirsty.
He must have done a pretty long burnout because it took 5 gallons to fill it up.
Tomorrow.
All right, Hillbilly got the paces pulled out. We're getting it ready. It's that time. It is Thursday. Robbie's taking the pacer over to Richfield at the Snow College. They asked him to go over there, do a little speech. And that's the thing about Robbie, you know, they're not paying him anything. They just asked him. He's like, absolutely. He gets nervous when he's talking in front of a bunch of people. He always says it. It's like, I can talk in front of a camera just fine, but when it comes to all these people, you know, he gets cold feet, but it's okay. So he's up there right now at his house. That's why he's not here right now. He's writing a speech. Yeah, it's like last minute, but that's the way he works. He works better under pressure at the last minute. So yeah, that's what he's doing. So me and Hillbilly are getting the pacer ready. We already checked the oil. That's all good. We checked everything, make sure it's all tight. What we're doing now is we're gonna drain the water out of the ice box and fill it up with ice. We got the pink tires on there, because of course we want to show them the pink smoke tires. And then GG will be good to go. We'll load it up in the trailer and we'll be headed to Richfield.
Okay.
What happened there, Hillbilly?
Well, you see,
Don't say his name. We can't beat him up too much.
Colton sent one of the other employees to go get ice for the cooler, and Cole said cooler, and so we had to drain the water out of the cooler. He thought we meant that cooler, didn't think of the car cooler, so he opened, broke up the ice, opened the bag, and dumped it in the cooler. So now we have to take cups and put ice in cup at a time.
Should have said icebox for Gigi. Gigi's icebox.
This is gonna take a while. 2 cups? I can count how many cups it takes to fill up the thing.
All right, Hillbilly's got the ice in. He fired Gigi up. We're gonna load in the trailer, get it strapped down. Let's go.
Welcome to Snow College Richfield campus. Ugh. We brought a little toy with us today. All right, so Snow College reached out to me and they wanted me to talk at their convocation for their manufacturing day. They want me to tell people that if you just take my course for $99.95 a month, you can be successful too. No, just kidding. Actually, they want me to talk about the core trades and why I feel that technical education is important. And this is why, because this is what I do. America was built on the technical trades, and I am a firm believer that the trades are the core of this country. And if you don't, if you work in an office, guess what? Core trades built that building. Can't Amazon Prime that. Car gets wrecked, core trade. A collision technician has to fix it. Car breaks down, somebody from your technical trades program has to fix it. Actually, you don't even have to go to school to learn how to do it. You can just be smart and know how to be a mechanic. But what I'm getting at is it's very, very, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say something that sounds really good that you'll believe. But anyway, at the end of the day, AI is never going to replace the skilled technician that knows how to work on cars, the skilled technician that knows how to paint cars, fix wrecks, build buildings. AI can do none of that, and you cannot Amazon Prime that. And that's the fact. So we're going to come down here, we're going to talk to all these kids, we're going to tell them about it, We're gonna show them how if you just apply your skills and you record it and you post it on YouTube, you too can be successful. And you too can build a burnout car and do a burnout at Snow College on their private road while the sheriff watches and nobody gets mad at you. So I'm pretty pumped about that. So I didn't actually attend Snow College. I went to a school called Wyotech, but that's neither here nor there because going to school, well, I'm not really into those whole 4-year degree things, but that's just me because I sucked at it. But a technical college is where it's at. So if you're thinking about going into the trades, look no further than Snow College. I'm actually really nervous for this. I've never done a burnout in front of a lot of high school kids. There's gonna be 200 of them here. And then there's gonna be another 100 of them on a live stream. And I gotta try to not make myself look like an idiot. Oh, Gigi's. How I've missed you. Me and Gigi are gonna go for a little stroll around the parking lot here in a minute. But anyway, so come hang out with us. You're gonna hear me say a lot of words that may or may not make sense. And then we're gonna do a cute little Smokey burnout. That pool feels so weird. It feels like a derby car. What he's doing right now is hoping to do a couple of holes and get that ECU or the Holy learn. It's really big.
This is Thomas Thompson.
Hi.
He's running the show for us today. Thomas, this is Robbie, Demery, and Colton.
Yep. Nice to meet you. That's me, in case you didn't notice.
So Thomas, this is the one you want to look at. Just look at that.
Yeah, no, I will.
that light and.
But
This is exciting. I think he's a little nervous.
This is the auditorium and I'm nervous. Look at you.
let's go. All right, so we just went into the auditorium. I was able to see where I'm gonna crap my pants a little bit later from nerves, but this is gonna be our skid pad after. But we're gonna go check out all their technical facilities. They've got a bunch of stuff going on, so we are just going to kind of walk through there and check things out and then go talk.
Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Robbie Layton as he shares his insights and his experience with us. Thank you.
Thank you. How's everybody doing? My computer's backwards. I brought a computer so I look like I have my life together, but inside I have papers. So, my name's Robbie Layton. For those of you that do not know, I'm 35 years old. As you can see on this humongous screen, it's me. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about why and how I got into the automotive industry from a young age. My mom often tells me that at 3 years old, she remembers a story that I took my sister's crib apart and they couldn't find me for about 6 hours, and when they found me, I had every single piece on the floor. She was there in diapers, and rather than getting mad, they made me put it back together. So I guess that's where I got my start at. My dad was a plumber. Both my parents are entrepreneurs. They both worked for themselves. At about 12 years old, I had decided I was going to be a plumber. I wanted to be just like my dad when I grew up. And at 16, I was supposed to start the plumbing trades school, or the plumbing trades program, and become a plumber. Well, I decided that was a crappy job. And I liked cars better. So through middle school, with tote goats and go-karts and anything with engines, I knew that I wanted to do something like that. I remember my first car being a 1972 Toyota Corolla that I dragged to my dad's gravel driveway, and I had a palm sander and some sandpaper, and I was going to paint it, and I knew nothing about it. So I'd come home after school, and it's the only thing I wanted to do was sand on that car, and I never finished it. But I got into high school, and I remember in 9th grade, I had a very influential teacher named Ben Shoppy. Nobody liked him, but I did. He introduced me to Wyotech, and they were going to go on a trip, 9th grade summer from 9th to 10th grade. They were going to go to a trip to North Dakota, and they were going to stop at Wyotech, and he took me with. And I knew that summer I had a direction in life. I wanted to fix wrecked cars. I've always been interested in how to fix things, how they work, how to take them apart. I was never good at putting stuff together when I was young, other than the crib. But, you know, after visiting Wyotech, I had a direction. And I knew I didn't want to be in high school. High school sucked for me. I knew that I was suck at math. I wasn't good at any of the core classes, they would call it. But I liked welding. And there was an ag mechanic class, and Ben was the teacher. And I didn't want to do ag mechanics. I knew how to work on small engines. So he let me bring my friends' cars in, and we painted them in high school. And there wasn't a program for it, but that's what we did. I'm not educated as far as a 4-year degree. I don't know much about math and science and English and all that, but I do know how to use my hands, which is a God-given gift to every single person in this room. If you can learn how to use your hands, you can make money. In 2010, I started a collision shop. It's named Layton Auto Body, and we're located in Ephraim, Utah. A little bit about my shop there. We started in a little shop, it's 1,500 square feet. We had a dirt driveway. I mean, winter would come and we'd have mud. It was terrible, but we were in business and we were fixing cars when I was 20 years old. I remember being that young, everybody would walk in and ask where my dad was. I'm like, I don't know, fixing somebody's plumbing somewhere. But, you know, it took a little bit of time to have people take me serious. One thing that I did to start my business is I went to a couple banks, and both of them denied me. Nobody wanted to take a 20-year-old serious. I had all these statistics and facts, and I told them I could make it. And they told me that in a small area, there's too much competition and we don't need another auto body shop. Like, yeah, I think we do. And so I ended up getting a 6 Counties Association of Government Economic Development loan, and they gave me $27,000, and it took me 1 year to convince them to do it. And we were able to pay that back and keep going. So when we bought our first building, we moved, and within about another year and a half, we needed to expand. So we bought the other building next to it. And we worked in those shops, and to the point where we had about a 10,000 square foot shop. And in 2018, we had a total loss fire. So the shop burnt to the ground, and we were all out of work. But we still had our skills, we still had, you know, our training, and we were able to go to another shop and work for 2 years while we rebuilt. So currently now we're over north, on the north end of Ephraim, in a 17,000 square foot facility where we fix about 50 to 55 cars a month. So we've been doing YouTube for 3 years. When I first got into it, I have a really good friend. You guys have probably seen him. His name is Matt Wetzel. He owns Matt's Off-Road Recovery. Matt called me in July, gave me an idea. We were going to do a project called the Golden Nugget, and he wanted to know if I could paint it. Well, I was like, well, of course I can. He's like, well, but you have to film it and you have to put it on YouTube. Like, well, I can paint it, but I know nothing about YouTube. And so we had a lot of conversations between July and November when I posted my first video, which happened to be November 14th, 2021. I went to Best Buy, we picked up some GoPros, and we just started filming everything, and it was an absolute disaster. But we got 7 videos out, and November 14th was the start of our YouTube career. And the Golden Nugget project wasn't ready when it was supposed to be, so Matt actually sent me his Jeep that he calls the Banana. And we started painting that thing in December. And it took us 6 weeks, and within 6 weeks of painting that vehicle, showing our skill on YouTube and posting videos, we acquired about 170,000 subscribers. And in March of 2022, we got the Golden Nugget project, and that blew us up. We were able to get more subscribers. I think we hit about 250,000. So one cool thing about the power of social media is we're able to give back a lot. And a couple of years ago, on our towing side, we had a truck that went off the road up in Fairview Canyon, and the guy was life flighted out. We were told that he lived, and we did a video on pulling this truck out. And we posted the video the following Friday, and a commenter actually said that the guy had died. And so we started panicking, like, oh my gosh, we just did a video on a guy that was killed, this is terrible. But come to find out he had a heart attack, and it wasn't accident related. I mean, it's still a terrible situation, but we had options at that point, and the option was to take the video down, or let's make light of the situation and let's help somebody. So I had figured out who the mother was and found out that she had 2 kids. And this son or he was 15 years old. He was supposed to acquire that truck when he turned 16. And so we turned to YouTube and we just told the story and people related to it, and we were able to raise $88,000 on a GoFundMe for the family, and we raised $150,000 to redo that truck completely. And to me, that proves the power of social media. And I'm a smaller channel at that point compared to some of these big channels. So we fully rebuilt that truck, every nut and bolt. We did everything. And we were able to do a series of videos, and we gifted it to the family on Christmas. Actually, let's take some questions. That'll be way better. I'm supposed to do questions at the end, but let's do it right now.
Diesel or gas?
Well, since you are a sponsor, diesel. So that's Dustin from Industrial Injection, and he is currently building me a 12-valve Cummins that should have about 650 horse for one of our tow trucks, which, if Dustin wasn't sitting there, I would say gas. But I really like LS engines, and we kind of poke fun on our channel. We have some characters on there. One of the characters' name is Hillbilly, and he is die-hard Ford. I mean, he'll probably be buried with a Ford truck. I mean, he's like, there's no arguing with him. So, and I always tell him that we just love LSs. But
How long does it take to build a custom car like that?
so, funny you ask. So the Pacer was built in 5 weeks. That was 4 guys. We have a full-time fabricator that works with us, and then me and a couple other guys. We started right around April 1st, and we took it to LS Fest, Texas. We're sponsored by Holly Performance, and so they had us bring it down and do a burnout there in Texas. So that car, probably in a normal situation where I take forever to build stuff, it probably would have taken about a year, but we kind of expedited the process and did it really quick.
What advice would you give someone who's trying to build their own business from nothing?
Well, so advice I'd give to somebody that's trying to build their business from nothing is, it's not easy, but it's worth doing. I often see people that, they see that you're in the height of your success and they come up like, oh, you got so lucky and man, you're just doing so well. I don't believe in luck. I believe in hard work and determination. In 2018, when my shop burnt to the ground, I was sitting on my front steps with every single person in town thinking I did it on purpose. I will tell you right now, the most emotionally draining thing I've ever done in my life is watching my business that I've worked 10 years of my adult career to build burn to the ground in 6 hours. But with a lot of work, you can come back. So in the beginning, when I started my business, you're going to have a lot of people that tell you it's not going to work. Those people aren't you. And don't ever take criticism from somebody you wouldn't ask advice from.
My question for you would be, what was the biggest hiccup you had in the beginning of your business that you wish you would have known before going into it?
So the biggest hiccup I had going into business that I didn't know, honestly, I've forgotten everything that I thought I knew then. I'm not sure, but I can tell you the biggest hiccup I had was trying to get people to take me serious. A funny little story, I had a local bank in Ephraim that kind of laughed in my face when I walked in and told them my plan. And I just needed money. I needed $54,000 is what I needed, and I had it all figured out. I was going to buy a paint booth. I was going to buy a guy that had just passed away. I was going to buy all his tooling, and I just needed the money. Well, I didn't know how to do a business plan, but I had everything in my head, and trying to convey that to people, it's a struggle because they don't take you serious. I didn't plan to start my business to fail, and trying to get other people to get on board with that, it's hard. So once I convinced them that it was going to work, then we stuck to it. But I remember when I was trying to get my loan, I got a credit union to give me 50% of the loan, but I had to figure out how to get 50%. That's where the 6 counties economic development program came into effect. And they wanted statistics on why my son was my son and why I named him Braden, and they wanted statistics on everything. And so I took that full year and figured it all out. But once I overcame that hurdle, then I was just in work mode. And I got work anywhere I could, and anything I could do to monetize my time, I did. The only thing we have in our life to exchange for everything is our time. And so you can see I wear this outfit in everything. The reason I do that is it's one less decision I have to make in the morning. I can use that decision to make money.
What made you want to come out here and talk to us today, and will you be doing more of this in the future?
What made me want to come out here and talk? They came to my shop and tied me up and forced me. I'm just kidding. Well, as nervous as I was to come and talk, one really cool thing about YouTube, and it's hard for me to understand fully, but the impact that I have on people, or the impact that we have, just by doing what we do every day. And so if I can impact anybody in this room to want to be a collision technician or an automotive technician or go into welding or manufacturing or machining, then my job's done.
You still get starstruck when you meet people that you want to meet forever.
It is the weirdest thing. So do I get starstruck when I meet people? I had a sleepover with Whistle and Diesel. Like, that was one of the weirdest, coolest things I've ever done. So I'm in a helicopter with Heavy D. I'm going to set the stage. Actually, I was in Texas with the crew from Sparks Motors. We had just done a truck giveaway for the John Wayne Foundation. I'm sure you've all heard of John Wayne. I painted a truck to replicate his original truck. And I went to Dallas Fort Worth to the stockyards to give it away. And I'm standing there and I'm supposed to fly out the next morning, and Heavy D's assistant Hans comes up to me. He's all, "What are you doing tomorrow?" I was like, "Well, I think I'm flying home." He's like, want to go to Tennessee?" I was like, "Yeah, of course. What's there?" He's like, "Oh, we're going to go hang out with Whistle and Diesel." And so I remember not telling my wife and getting a plane ticket to Lebanon, Tennessee. Well, we went to Nashville, and then we had to get an Uber over to Lebanon, Tennessee, where Heavy D showed up in a helicopter, and it was like a scene out of a movie. And so we're in this helicopter flying to Whistle and Diesel's compound, and we land on top of his container, and I'm like trying to hold myself together. Like, and he walks up and he's like, "Oh, hey," and gives me a hug, and I'm like, "Holy crap." You know, but you just calm down a little bit, and you know, we're all normal people, you know, and the thing I've noticed is these stars that I meet, and I've met quite a few of them, they just want to be treated normal. It's pretty cool, but yeah, you just keep your composure when you meet famous people, because they consider you just like them, which is real weird to think about. Yeah. So.
You a Ford or a Chevy guy?
Am I a Ford or a Chevy guy? I am a new vehicle guy. But I do drive a Duramax, and my wife drives a new Denali that has a diesel, Dustin. But I also own a Ford, and my tow truck, which is my favorite vehicle, is a Ford, but it's Dodge powered. Gonna be. So it's like the best. It's like the best of everything.
What's that condiment you put on hot dogs?
Well, have you ever watched how hot dogs are made? Yeah. Don't eat many hot dogs. But definitely mayo. And
What?
Do you think pineapple belongs on pizza?
100% no. We got pizza last night, and I specifically said there will be no pineapple on that pizza. Technically, I'm a reasonable person. Anyway, well, thank you guys for coming out. If I can instill anything in you, it's if you're good with your hands and go into the trades, you'll never go hungry.
Now let's get on the start portal and see a really cool burnout.
Hopefully the turbo will blow up on there so I can ready to do.
That's the company that's real. That's the real. That's in there with Rob. It's like, hey,
Oh, bye.
no, I'm kidding. I don't think you expected it.
Now it's over.
Do you think Smoke Holland knew what you were gonna actually do.
No, I told him, I was like, you have no idea what I'm about to do.
We're pretty sure that road is destroyed.
There you go. Now, if you get on YouTube, you can have a burnout car.
Let's sit to a burnout on the bus.
All right, so we had a pretty awesome day down at Snow College. You know, we just might take up a career in motivational speaking. Just kidding, probably not. That was the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever done. But if you guys were if any of you were in attendance, drop us a comment, let us know what you thought. We had a lot of fun, did a real Smokey burnout afterwards, and just had a good day. So it felt good to be able to talk to some younger kids and just give an insight of, you know what, I was in your shoes, and you know what, you have the world ahead of you. So as always, we appreciate you. If you enjoyed this video, go check out this one.